It was almost laughable how the world kept turning while my own stopped. Or maybe it wasn't funny at all, it was terrifying, humiliating, and strangely, liberating. The night Evan found out, I thought everything I had carefully built would collapse. I had hidden my body, my truth, behind layers of routine, sarcasm, and exhaustion. Working the night shift in a hospital wasn't glamorous. But it was predictable. I liked predictable. Predictable meant safe. And then Evan, damn him, walked right into the middle of it. The emergency room had been chaos. As usual. Sirens. Blood. Broken families clutching each other in grief or hope. I had been moving fast. Focused. My hands steady despite the storm. I didn't notice Evan watching me until later. In the break room. When the adrenaline had crashed and the silence between us hummed louder than the vending machine. "You don't have to hide it from me," he had said simply, his voice low, like a secret only meant for the walls. And just like that, my life tilted. I stared at him, my chest tightening. He had seen Miral, I seen me. The scars. The truth my body carried. The thing I thought would make everyone turn away. He hadn't flinched. Instead, he had looked at me like I was more, not less. But that wasn't the scariest part. The scariest part was how badly I wanted to believe him. Evan wasn't supposed to matter. He was the golden boy of the night shift. The guy everyone liked. Tall. Broad-shouldered. Blonde hair always a little messy. Eyes that could make you forget your own name. He was easygoing in the way I envied. Always finding a way to joke. To lighten the room. And me. I was the opposite. Sharp edges. Clipped words. Exhaustion carved under my eyes. People respected me. Sure. But no one leaned in closer. No one asked how I was doing. Not really. Until him. The night after he found out. I expected him to avoid me. Instead, he came to sit beside me during our 3A. Coffee break like nothing had changed. He bumped his knee against mine, grinned, and asked if I always drank my coffee black or if I was punishing myself for existing. I wanted to shove him away. I wanted to pull him closer. He didn't stop. Night after night, he came. Sometimes with coffee. Sometimes with silence. Sometimes with a story about his childhood in Ohio. Sometimes with just the sound of his breathing filling the room when words felt too heavy. And slowly, dangerously, I found myself waiting for him. You ever feel like the night shift is the only place we're allowed to be real? He asked once. His head tilted back against the wall. Eyes closed. I didn't answer at first. My heart was thudding too loud. He looked so peaceful. So unguarded. Like the world couldn't touch him here. I don't feel like I'm allowed to be real anywhere. I admitted finally. My voice sharper than I meant. His eyes opened then. Finding mine. And there was no joke. No easy grin. Just quiet understanding that terrified me more than any ridicule could. "You are," he said softly. "At least with me. You are." The problem with letting someone in is that they can see everything you want to hide. When I snapped at a patient out of exhaustion, Evan was there. When I locked myself in the supply closet because the weight of pretending got too heavy, Evan found me. When my body betrayed me, when the truth I carried pulsed like a wound under my skin, Evan held my gaze steady and refused to look away. And every time, something inside me unraveled. It wasn't all gentle. Some nights, The tension between us was unbearable. I pushed him away with harsh words, desperate to make him stop before I fell too deep. But Evan, stubborn as hell, never left. He'd absorb my sharpness, wait until my anger burned out, and then sit beside me again, silent and steady. One night, I shouted at him, my voice breaking. "You don't understand what it's like. You don't get to look at me like I'm some mystery you're dying to solve. This isn't a puzzle. Evan, it's me. And I'm broken." He didn't shout back. He just stepped closer. Close enough that I felt the warmth radiating off him. Close enough that my breath caught. "You're not broken," he said firmly. "You're alive. And you're mine. If you let me." Those words wrecked me, because I wanted to let him. But wanting and trusting are two different battles. And I wasn't sure I had the strength to fight both. Still, every night, when the halls of the hospital grew quiet and the world outside slept, Evan came to me, sometimes with laughter, sometimes with silence, sometimes with a hand resting gently against mine. Not pushing, just reminding me he was there. And little by little, my walls began to crack. The night everything finally shattered was the night I almost walked away for good. It had been a brutal shift, too many patients, too much blood, too many reminders that life was fragile and unfair. By the time I stumbled into the break room, my hands were shaking, not from fatigue but from something darker, heavier. Evan followed me, as he always did, but that night I couldn't stand the weight of his presence. "Don't you get tired?" I snapped, pacing like a caged animal. "Tired of babysitting me? Tired of pretending I'm not a burden?" His face hardened in a way I'd never seen before. Usually, he took my anger like rain on stone, letting it wash over him. But not this time. "Don't do that," he said, voice tight. "Don't turn this into something ugly when all I'm trying to do is love you." The word hung in the air like a live wire. Love. I froze. My heart stuttered painfully in my chest. He had never said it out loud before, though I'd felt it in every look, every touch. Every night he refused to let me push him away. "Don't," I whispered, almost begging. "Don't say that. You don't know what you're saying." "I know exactly what I'm saying," he shot back, stepping closer, eyes burning. "I love you. And if that terrifies you, fine. But don't you dare tell me it's not real." The dam inside me broke. I shoved past him, the words tumbling out like knives. "You're wrong. You don't love me. You love the idea of saving me, of being the guy who saw through the cracks. But when the weight of who I am finally crushes you, you'll leave. Everyone does." His silence in that moment was worse than shouting. I stormed out, leaving him standing there, his hands clenched at his sides, his jaw tight. And for the first time since he'd discovered my secret, he didn't follow. The days that followed were unbearable. Evan avoided me during shifts, our conversations clipped and professional. No coffee breaks, no late-night laughter, just the sterile rhythm of hospital life, as though we had never been more than coworkers. I told myself this was what I wanted, that I had finally scared him off, spared us both the inevitable heartbreak. But the hollowness inside me grew louder every night. It wasn't until I walked into the supply closet, the one he used to find me hiding in, that I realized the truth. I missed him like hell. His absence wasn't relief, it was torture. And maybe, just maybe, I had been wrong. It was almost dawn when I found him again. He was outside the hospital, leaning against the hood of his car, the sky bleeding pink and gold behind him. His hair glowed in the early light, his shoulders tense, his face tired in a way I had never seen before. I stopped a few feet away, my throat tight. "Evan." He looked up, and the guardedness in his eyes cut deeper than any blade. "I'm sorry," I blurted, the words tumbling out before I could stop them. "I said things I didn't mean. I was scared. And I wanted to hurt you before you could hurt me." His jaw clenched. "Do you really think so little of me?" The pain in his voice nearly undid me. I stepped closer, my hands trembling. "No. I think too much of you. That's the problem. You see me in ways I don't know how to accept. And I'm terrified of losing that." For a long moment, he just stared at me. Then, slowly, the fire in his gaze softened. "You're not going to lose me," he said quietly. "Not unless you push me so far I can't find my way back." Tears stung my eyes. My chest felt like it was splitting open. "I don't want to push you away anymore." Something in him broke then, not in anger, but in relief. He reached for me, his hand cupping the back of my neck, pulling me forward until our foreheads touched. His breath was warm against my skin, steadying me. "Then don't," he whispered. The kiss that followed wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a movie scene explosion of passion. It was soft, hesitant, like we were both afraid the other might vanish if we pressed too hard. But in that tenderness was a promise, a truth neither of us could deny anymore. I let myself melt into him, my walls crumbling for good. For the first time, I didn't feel broken. I felt whole. The weeks that followed weren't perfect. We argued. We stumbled. Some nights, the weight of my fear tried to crawl back in. But Evan was always there, grounding me, reminding me that I didn't have to carry it alone. One night, as we sat together in the break room, his arm draped lazily over the back of my chair. I asked him, "Why me? Why not someone easier? Someone without all this baggage?" He smirked, squeezing my shoulder. "Because you're you. And I'd rather fight with you, cry with you, love you with everything that comes with it than spend my life with someone who never makes me feel half as alive." I laughed through my tears, realizing then that maybe love wasn't about perfection. Maybe it was about choosing each other, flaws and all, night after night. Months later, standing on the hospital roof after another long shift, I watched the sunrise with him at my side. His hand found mine, fingers interlacing, and I didn't pull away. "Funny," I said softly, leaning into him. "I used to think the night shift was where I hid. Now it feels like the only place I ever found something real." Evan kissed the top of my head, his voice warm. "You didn't just find something real. You found me. And I'm not going anywhere." For the first time in years, I believed it. And with the sun rising over the city, his hand steady in mine, I let myself believe in us. Because maybe, just maybe, love wasn't about being unbroken. It was about being seen, scars and all, and still being chosen. And he chose me. Every night. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.